How's it going, everybody? Today we are going to look at the Electricianz Terra Edition XO watch. This watch is from a European design company. I think it was Switzerland, and it was manufactured in China, as most all micro brands are. With micro brands, usually they come in at mid-level pricing in the watch world, but they're generally much more stylized. Much more design has gone into the aesthetic, so they're much more unique looking, and they keep the cost down by typically manufacturing in China, and this one shipped out of Hong Kong. Now when you get it, it's going to come in a package like this. First you remove the sleeve, then you see here is their scan to read their manual. Now I actually did the QR scan, and this brings you to their regular edition circular watch that has a light built into it. Basically those instructions really didn't have anything to do with this watch, so that was kind of a disappointment. You pop this open and your watch comes in a nice little felt case with that simple graphic over there. It did also come, protected with different pieces of plastic on it, which I've since removed, but the box gets the job done. It's nice, but it's nothing over the top. Let's get into the pros and cons. The biggest pro, in my opinion, looks. I am really a fan of different watches that make me think about the time in a different way than the typical circular watch. So I really appreciate watches that are just really unique, and this really fits the bill. This thing is off the charts unique looking. You can kind of see in the background, it's got a texture there that reflects light differently, and I really like these little tiny pieces of, looks like copper or something they put there. I think that looks really cool. I love the asymmetry. I love how this kind of almost looks like a spaceship in its own right, or like a little device, a phaser or something like that. And then I love this 12-sided glass here that they have. Very cool looking. In the dark, this thing looks wicked cool. Like I said, there's no built-in light, but I used a flashlight to charge up the luminescent paint, and this thing is awesome looking. That definitely, it almost looks like something out of a Pilot HUD, but it's like off this world. I love this thing. Another pro, I really like this strap. This is a really big, kind of wide, thick leather strap, and this thing is kind of honking huge, but it really feels durable, and I really like the feel over most of my other leather straps. So they did a good job with this leather strap. And on the back there, you can see their logo. And I like the clip design too. I can't tell if this is a resin or a lighter metal like aluminum, but it is durable. I actually scraped it on my washing machine, and it scraped the paint of the washing machine before this thing actually scraped. So you see there, they've got their imprints on the strap, that whole addition there. These are supposed to be limited to 333 too, I didn't mention, for each of the variants. So that's 999 supposedly total in the world. I say supposedly because I don't see any indicator. There's nothing on the back. That would be one of the cons. Normally when I get a numbered item, that's rare, they indicate that somewhere, and that will be physically on the piece, and that's to authenticate that rarity. If there's nothing kind of like that, then, I really have no way to tell which one this is or how many were actually produced. So I wish they did go ahead and put that number on the back there. Another con, this one doesn't actually have a light. All of the other ones on their site, the circular ones, have a light. That's kind of their thing. They're the electricians. They light up your timepiece. So I expected this one to have a little built-in light. Not only a built-in light, but from the ads, they talked about a black light. And then when I went back and looked, you could see the light off in the corner in the advertisement. So there's no actual light on this piece. So that was a little bit of a disappointment. On the wrist, it feels really nice. So the band itself is really thick and large, but the piece itself is very light because of this carbon fiber case up here. Pair that together, this thing's really actually one of my more comfortable watches to wear. There you have it, the Electricianz XO limited edition Terra, and this thing is one of my least capable watches if I'm actually talking about outdoors and taking abuse. However, one of my best looking watches, and it definitely draws an eye. I've had people ask me if I'm wearing a Mandalorian watch or something like that. So I've had all sorts of comments, and I really appreciate this watch's aesthetics. So for me, I think it's definitely really cool and a keeper. And then in the dark, this thing is just amazing looking too. So super cool, super unique, and super rare. The Electricianz XO.